Hey, welcome back everyone. And today's will it run is another driveway drop off. So I got home from a run today and I seen this sitting in my driveway. I'll show you what someone dropped off here for me to play around with. I got back and I seen this old lawnmower sitting in the driveway here. Now this is an old Firestone 22-inch mower. Now I'm guessing this is probably, I would say early to mid 80s on this. Look at this. This thing even has a metal trail flap on the back of it. It's so old. And there's even a note on it here. Let's see what this old note says. Sean, love the content you do on your YouTube channel. This old lawnmower has been sitting for at least 20 years. It was used on a seasonal lake property we had a long time ago. You can have it. Just do a video on, whoops, a little windy out here. You can have it. Just do a video on getting it running again. Oh, and by the way, my Simplicity Conquest tractor has never run so good since you worked on it. Bob. Well, that's very nice of him. This is an older customer of mine that dropped this off. So, like I said, this is early 80s. Someone has changed the shroud on this because being white like this is a 70s style Briggs shroud. So I'm guessing this is probably a 3.5 horse Briggs motor. And boy, this deck is in really good shape on it, isn't it? Ooh, that blade's a little bent down there, it looks like, so that might be an issue. So we're gonna have to find a blade for it, but it's not rusted out though, and it doesn't look too bad, really. It's too bad these chrome handlebars are all rusted up. Well, let's take this thing up to the shop and see about if this thing's gonna run or not. Okay, well the first thing I'm going to do on this thing is I see the pull rope here is broken off on this shroud, and it looks like the screen is damaged inside there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this. This throttle cable is going to be no good on it, that's for sure. That's going to be seized up. Maybe we can get that working again on it. But I'll pull this off of here and we're going to blow all these leaves out of here and see if the motor, make sure it's not set up at all for we do too much with it. Being a aluminum cylinder block engine with this thing being setting apparently for 20 years, I don't want to go rolling this thing over on dry rings in a cylinder. So I'm going to get this flipped up and we're going to put some Marvel's mystery oil down inside the cylinder and work it around in there so we got some freshly lubricated surfaces in here, you know what I'm saying? I would have to say this thing is, I'd have to say this thing's been sitting under some trees for a while, wouldn't you say? Wow. There, what a mess that was. Well, anyway, thank you, Bob. I appreciate the donation here on this lawnmower. We will surely go through and do this will it run on here and see about getting this guy up and running again. How's that sound? And Bob, if you're listening to me right now, if you got any more old stuff like this you know I like, you know I'll gladly take it off your hands. So, well, the motor's not set up, so that's good. But look at this, this screen here is shot. And look at this. This has got the old starter clutch on this. So this is definitely early to mid 80s. I would say for sure on this. They were using some of this stuff, I believe up to 1988 on Briggs, if I'm not mistaken on that. But I'll go ahead and blow all this out with a hose here, blow all these coolant fins out, so this thing's not going to overheat when we start it up after a 20-year nap. Boy, there sure is a lot of dirt and crap inside this engine. So what I'm going to do here for tonight is I'm going to go out back and see if I can come up with another shroud to put on this here, being this isn't the original one anyway. I'm pretty sure I got some 80s style recoil shrouds out back in my stock that we can put back on this. And as well, I'll see about replacing this screen on here. And something else too, I'm gonna have to go to the parts store tomorrow and see if I can come up with a blade for this that's not bent. Otherwise, if we go ahead and we start this thing up the way that blade's like this thing is just gonna shake, rattle, and roll all over the place, and we don't need that. And as well, I'm gonna take and tip this up on end, and we're gonna pour some Marvel's mystery oil down inside here so that can be soaking overnight and loosening those rings up on this, and as well just getting everything all lubricated up after a 20-year nap. And there's our blade. Wow, this thing hits something. But the good news is it didn't bend the crankshaft, it just bent the crap out of this here. So I'm going to pull this thing off. We will do that. And I'm pretty sure I got another blade adapter for that. But yeah, look at that blade, guys. That's this, whoo! Someone made a brush, tried to make a brush hog out of it, and well, the lawnmower lost the battle. So I got this lawnmower propped up overnight. Look at this thing here. The spark plug is not even screwed in all the way. And that's not even the right spark plug for it. But yeah, the motor's not locked up, so that's good. So I'm going to go ahead, I can see the piston in there. Rotate this down. Put a little bit of this Marvel's mystery oil in there and work it around there, and those rings, and if they're sticky, well, this should help them out a little bit. Turn this over until I see the piston come up again. Yep, there's our mystery oil. Alright, that's good. I'm just going to let that sit like that overnight. Put this plug back in just to keep anything from getting in there, and we'll come back in another business day and work on this some more. Hey, alright, it's a beautiful Tuesday today outside. Not too cool, not too hot, but yeah, we put some parts together on this last night when we replaced the blade on this. I got a new blade for this morning to put on here, so that's all good. And I even found the correct starter recoil shroud here to put back on here as well. And I'm thinking possibly I might have fixed the screen that was all damaged on here. I had some on some other engines out there, but I just didn't really feel like taking the blower shroud off just to get this one part. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to pull this off, and we're going to pop the flywheel, and we're going to sand the points up on this just to see how they look as well, and hopefully we don't got to replace them. So we'll get busy. I got my starter clutch removal tool here. You work on these old Briggs engines. I'll put a link in my description. You're going to want one of these. They're really nice. I'll show you. All you do is clamp it on here like so. Your little impact gun. And there we go. See how easy these things take that off? That's amazing, isn't it? Alrighty, now we got to take and get this nut off here. See something else I noticed here too. This ain't really the right setup on here. Someone's put this on top of this existing nut to pull this off. It works, but it ain't right. Alrighty, now get my old brass hammer here and I'll pop the flywheel loose. Alright, I know some people out there are going to say, hey Sean, you can't take a beat on the end of that crankshaft with a hammer. Well, if you know what you're doing, you can. And this is a brass hammer. This brass is going to get marred up before that steel crankshaft is. As you can see, it's already mushroomed over. I'll show you something. Get me some penetrating oil. Get me some liquid wrench here. Spray on there. Work down in there. And just kind of take your pry bar and a couple taps, put a little pressure on there, and watch this. See? You can do it this way if you know what you're doing. Pull our breaker points cover off. You know, this might even be a 3-horse. The only real way to know for sure on these is pull the sump off and check the crank and bore in the engine. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. Oh, this don't look bad in here. Points look kind of nice and clean. I ain't got no quarrel about that. So what we'll do is I'll roll this over. We'll sand them. Let's see if the, oh yeah, check that out. Get my fat melon out of the way here. So you can even see those breaker points opening and closing. So I'm going to go get me a piece of sandpaper, sand that up, and we'll recheck the gap on these and we'll put it back together. All right. I know some of you out there might be asking me, hey Sean, why don't you just pull that over and see if that thing had spark before you pop that off? I thought, well, normally I do that in my videos, but being how I had to take this apart anyway with the starter recoil issues, I thought I'd save that step and go ahead and do this as opposed to putting it all back together just to take it all back apart to do this. Work smarter, not harder, right? So I'm just lightly sanding this. This is just some 120 sandpaper. I got a points file around here somewhere, but you know, that thing just has a tendency to get up and walk away sometimes. And I got better things to do besides chase it down. I suppose I could get a little bit more responsible and take care of it and put it someplace where I know I can find it. That would be what I should do. But again, what fun would that be, right? See these points, there's a little bit of corrosion on them, so this was definitely the smart move to go ahead and clean this. Alrighty. And I got my feeler gauge here. I'm looking for 20 thousandths on this for my gap. You check this. And we are right on the money at 20 thousandths. It's kind of a snug, loose 20. Alright, I like that. Well, we'll go ahead and put this back together. And hopefully we don't have to buy points, because at this point, the way points are anymore, and if they're available, if I had this issue, I just might put a solid state coil on this and call it a day instead of replacing the points. So yeah. Alrighty. Let's cover back down. Just like that. Alrighty. See now, that key is in really good shape. Most cases you replace these keys when you take them off. But we're going to run with this one. I'm confident it'll be just fine. Alright, we'll go ahead and put our nut back down. Oops. There we go. I know. Now, Sean, you're supposed to torque that nut down there. Well, I did torque it. This is probably about 40 foot-pounds, 45, give or take. That's close enough. Go ahead and put this starter clutch on here that they did a makeshift on. And there we go. Don't get too carried away. And I'm going to spray just a little bit of penetrating oil down in there to lubricate those ball bearings up. There we go. Like that. There we go. Now she's starting to roll over a little more freely. Now, the next step we're going to do is put our screen back on. I'm having my reservations how well this is going to work with their get up and go they did. But as long as it works, that's all that matters. Now I'm going to get this thing up and going, running here. She all runs out real good. I'm going to put this out on the bay and she's going to be for sale. Put that cover on here. I might have bend some of these tabs around the screen just so it doesn't rub on our blower shroud. That would be kind of annoying having to listen to that, wouldn't you think? I gotta say, that old screen, she didn't straighten out too bad. Make some adjustments here, putting it around here with that blower shroud. Oh, our air vane governor is kind of sticky here a little bit. Ouch. Some of that sheet metal can be doggone sharp on these things. Alright, well, put her shroud back down here and see how she sits down here. I gotta get me a screwdriver. I'm gonna take this air breather off. Now that breather's off. Yeah, this stuff is stiff, but not too bad in a way. And all lubed up on here. Alright, put our blower shroud back down. And hopefully, and see, now that's the problem right here. Because they don't have the right setup on here, I can't get this blower shroud down all the way. So I'm going to have to come up with something for that there to make that work. I'll be right back with you. Well, we got our starter recoil put on here like so, and that works fairly good. The spring might be a little weak on here, but even once I start using this thing from sitting, it'll start snapping back like it should. And on another good note, I soaked the throttle cable down here with some liquid wrench, and now our throttle works on this. So now the next thing what we're going to do is see what the gas tank looks here. Well, on a good note, the gas tank on this thing was bone dry, so it was put away properly in a way. Well, let's see if we got some spark on this thing. I'm going to get the correct spark plug for this thing and see if we got fire or not in this. Alrighty, I got my spark plug. Get this put in. Now, well, that's good. That Marvel's Mist Oil we put in there last night, it's all soaked down in here, and it's it's not kicking it out. And I'm not going to guarantee y'all out there that you're going to be able to see any spark as bright as this sunshine is out here, and I definitely am not going to complain about that being in mid-October right now. So we'll put this spark plug in here and hook my Harbor Freight spark plug tester on here. You know, I tell you what, you know, for the money on these things, they're not too bad. I got to say that. I don't know if we're going to get good connection on this spark plug lead or not. It's kind of dirty. If I don't get any spark on here, that might be something I have to take a look at. But yeah, let's see what happens here. Hey, y'all, we got spark here. How about that? All right, I'm just going to kind of pick up my tools here before we try starting this up, just so it don't look like a pig pen from Charlie Brown was here working on this and not cleaning up after himself. Yeah, it's springing. There's a little sticky. Might have to oil that up good. But I'm going to get some gasoline to put down in here, and because if this thing's been sitting for a while, might have to nurse this with some gasoline to get that pump working again like it should. So I'll mix a little bit of Marvel's Mystery Oil in my canister to help soften that diaphragm up inside. Hopefully this thing's going to turn around and run all right, you know, or if not, I'm going to have to pull the carburetor and put a new diaphragm in it, which that can happen as well. All right, now before we get too carried away, I haven't checked the oil on this thing. Make sure she's full. Yeah, it's a good thing I did. She's down a little bit. I'm just gonna put a little bit of 1030 down in here. I know I should be using a funnel, but I just want to see how good I am. Pouring oil without spilling it. And today I'm really good because I haven't spilled it. So we'll take that. Tell you what, the doggone box elder bugs out here this time of year is something else. Keep buzzing around down my head down here, landing on me. Alrighty. Alright, we're topped off with oil. Got gas in the tank. Now I gotta get my little helper gas can to pour in this thing. Let's give her a whirl here and see what happens. She's gonna start or not. All right. Wow. I can't believe it was that easy. Well, I'll go ahead and take my spark plug cable off here. And wow, that's impressive after setting for 30 years. I tell you what. Well, what we're going to do now is we got this air filter here. I'm going to go quick clean this and put this on here so we can adjust the carburetor and see how she's going to respond. Well, alrighty, cleaning that air filter didn't work out so good. And man, I took this thing out. It just literally crumbled apart. It was so old. So we put a brand new air filter in it and called it a day. Well, let's start this thing up and let her run and idle here for a little bit, and hopefully I'll start back up without help. I don't know if we'll see if the choke works or if I got to spray starting fluid in it again. So, because yeah, it's going to need a little more time for those diaphragms inside that carburetor to soften up a little bit so they can start working like they're supposed to if they're going to. Well, hey, you can't beat that. I'll try to adjust the carburetor a little bit. More speed I need. There we go. A little more speed. There we go. As you can see, she's smoking a little bit, but I would expect that from sitting for so long. Once this thing runs and gets some heat in it, hopefully that will go away. We'll run it here. Trying to find the sweet spot right now on the carburetor. As you can see it running, the smoke is starting to clear out of it right now a little bit. Well, I took and I put a little bit of Marvel's Mist Oil and the gas down there, and well, I spilled some of it on there, so I didn't do too good there on my not using a funnel trick. But she's been sitting out here running for about 10 minutes now. I've got it idle down. She sounds good. The smoke is cleared. It's pretty much cleared out of it right now. Well, how about that, everyone? This was another success on this Willow Run, this old lawnmower, Firestone, set for 20 years. This is just a true testament right here on these older Briggs and Strattons, how you just can't kill these things. Now, I'm even amazed after sitting this long, the diaphragms in this carburetor weren't so hard that it wouldn't pick up fuel, because I've gotten mowers before that has happened, and I've had to go through and rebuild these carburetors. Now, if this would have been a newer style Briggs and Stratton, you know, like your 158 cc's that have that Pulsa Prime carburetor, there's no way this thing would have started up like that after 20 years. The diaphragm in those plastic carburetors, they would have just been shot. And most cases, sometimes you have to replace those carburetors if you can't save them with new pump diaphragm gaskets. But yeah, so this one here, we're going to get this thing all cleaned up, and this one's going to be for sale. So all we had to do to it really to get this thing up and going is I had to get the starter recoil to work on it and put a new blade on it and new air filter and spark plug, and you can't beat that. So, but hey, thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel here. I appreciate it very much. If you're enjoying this kind of content, you know, on the Will It Runs and the restorations, please leave a like. It helps the channel out, and maybe consider subscribing. We definitely got more cool videos coming to you all out there in the future. We have plenty of projects out back behind the shop, different things that has been given to us and dropped off that we just need to get it up and get it running again. And as well, we're going to be finishing up some of these other projects we started. We got the 1940 Ford 9N we've been working on for a while. We had someone asking me about the 62 Wonder Boy 600 we've been working on, and we're going to be getting back on that, start putting the motor and everything back in it and getting that thing all up and running again after we got it all painted. And what else we're working on? Yeah, that's pretty much it for unfinished projects. Well, we also got my 1977 Ford F-150. That's a project that's been going on for a long time that I've just been getting back into. I've been putting the interior back together in that truck. I'll do a short here coming up in the future how that's coming along on that. And as well, we're going to have a video coming through, a segment. I got my 1945 Farmall A sitting inside the shop here. We're going to start tearing that motor down and building another engine for tractor pulls for that. So again, thank you so much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you later.